Many B2B companies install visitor identification tools expecting them to reveal exactly who is searching for their product. But not all visitor intelligence platforms work the same way. So difference in database size, enrichment depth, and identification accuracy can significantly affect the quality of insights you receive. So that's something that individuals and companies should take into account. So with that being said, these tools vary depending on who uses them. They vary depending on how they're used. Hi, my name is Justin from LemReveal, and today we'll compare Albacross websites versus LemReveal, focusing on database size, enrichment depth, and also visitor identification accuracy. So, what do these tools do, or what are they designed to do? So before we go ahead and compare the features, it is important to understand the core functions of these platforms. So both tools obviously aim to identify anonymous companies visiting your website. And instead of seeing unknown traffic in analytics, the goal is to reveal your company name, your industries, your location, and potential buyer intent based on how you analyze the data. So this helps sales teams identify organizations that are ready to and are already searching for your product. So as you can see, this is Albacross now on Google, and then after logging in or creating an account, this is what will appear. So if you still want to learn how to create an account, you can always go back to the previous videos. It shows you how to do that and more details as well. So with that being said, the way each platform gathers and processes information differs, and the way it looks in general and its features. So that's something that you should take into account more thoroughly. So one of the biggest factors in visitor identification is the size and quality of the underlying database. So Albacross uses a large IP to company mapping database combined with firmographic enrichment. So this allows the system to identify companies visiting a website when their IP address matches known business networks. So it doesn't really work for your remote companies since IP addresses are in different locations, unless of course the company has a virtual location. So that can be of some help or it can provide some insight. So, with that being said, this allows the system to identify companies visiting the site using their IP address, which is obviously to a well known location. And then when it comes to LemReveal, it focuses on combining multiple identification sources to improve company matching reliability. So instead of just relying mainly on IP address database, the platform layers multiple signals to increase the likelihood of identifying B2B visitors. So the practical difference here is coverage. Tools relying on a broader database may detect more companies, but accuracy and filtering also matter, which obviously depends on you as the user on how you infer the data that you get from these tools. So accuracy is where visitor intelligence tools are obviously often differ, and they differ due to the types of metrics they use in order to gather that data. So Albacross identifies companies and companies actually and individuals primarily through IP-based recognition. And this works well for corporate networks, but can struggle when visitors use VPN, mobile networks, or IP or shared IP environments. So that's something that you need to take into account as well. So you might not get all the rich data that you seek. So this works well for company networks that can struggle. And I mean, they work well for company networks, but corporate company networks, but struggle when visitors use VPNs, etc. So when it comes to LemReveal, it approaches identification by combining different signals to improve matching confidence. So the goal here is to reduce false positives while still identifying relevant companies. In practice, no visitor identification tool reaches perfect accuracy, but at least it provides you with some insight. So platforms that layer multiple identification methods can sometimes produce a more consistent results, a results that you can confidently rely on at some point. So when it comes to enrichment depth, once a company is identified, enrichment becomes the next important factor. Everyone knows that. So Albacross provides a firmographic data such as your company name, industry, etc. You know how it goes. And this gives sales team a basic understanding of companies visiting your website or whoever visits your website. So with LemReveal, it focuses on deeper enrichment designed for sales workflows. In addition to company level data, the platform can provide stronger context for identifying potential outreach targets and evaluating buying signals. So the difference here is not just the amount of data, but how easily that data can support sales decision making, how easily that data can be used without any complication in between. So another thing to watch out for here is the user experience and workflow. So beyond just the raw data, usability matters. Albacross offers a clean visitor dashboard where teams can browse identified companies and review their website activity. As you can see here, you have your website visitors, your segments, pages, and intent levels, which means that it sorts out the data based on predetermined categories you find on this tool. So that gives you some leeway in terms of making sense of the data and also the sales team making use of the data by inferring which data will likely or which individuals or companies will likely or most likely convert. So this is something that you should take into account. So LemReveal focuses heavily on connecting visitor intelligence with outbound sales workflow. So it looks at features like intent signals, prioritized insights, etc., integrations designed for sales teams. So the experience becomes less about simply viewing visitors and more about identifying actionable opportunities. So I'll quickly show you what I'm talking about and you will see for yourself. Although I have covered this in the previous videos, I'll just briefly go through this so that you can at least get some idea of what I'm talking about. So you quickly sign in. There we go. So what I'm talking about here is your outreach outreach aspect. You can go to your connectors and connect your HubSpot, Sales Drive, and Google Sheets. So wherever or whatever CRM tool you use in order to take the next step in more than just getting and inferring the data, you can also take the next step and perform outreach campaigns. So that's another thing that you can look at. And the choice really on how to use this data depends on your priorities. If your goal is simple company visibility, Albacross can provide that foundation. And if your focus is deeper sales intelligence and identifying high intent opportunities, platforms built specifically for workflows may offer stronger advantages. So, either way, understanding how visitor identification works and its limitation is essential when evaluating tools in this category. And another thing here is that when you're making use of these tools, find out which tools has all the cons that you need in a tool that you use a tool that provides the best out of every feature that it has, and do away with tools that don't really perform well. Although they do what they need to do, it doesn't really suit your company in terms of usability. So always look for the most advantages in tools and make use of that. And if you need more information, if you need to explore this tool a bit further, you can always catch the links in the description below. And that's it from me. I'll catch you on the next video.